Vote David Norris, District Attorney, March 2026. A Rutherford County native, David Norris has 30 years of legal experience with nearly 23 in the District Attorney's Office as an Assistant DA. David has proven his ability to fight and prosecute difficult cases. David Norris is a veteran of 16 years serving in the U.S. Army. If you believe that our criminal justice system needs change, vote David Norris, District Attorney, March 2026, paid for by David Norris for District Attorney.
March 3rd, 2026, elect Jamie Dunn, Sheriff of Rutherford County, because this county deserves leadership that tells the truth. He knows that drug numbers, arrests, and real progress don't come from one man. They come from the hard-working deputies risking their lives every day. He's been one of them, and he has always stood with them. As sheriff, his priorities are simple: protect our families, support our deputies, and bring this county honest leadership we can trust. With 24 years of experience, he knows how to get things done. Vote Jamie Dunn, Sheriff, paid for by the committee to elect Jamie Dunn, Sheriff.
I want you to love your plumbing as much as I love mine. That's why I want you to call Olmsted Plumbing for all your plumbing needs. It's fall of the year, and Olmsted Plumbing is excited about prepping for the fall season. Changing weather always triggers broken water lines and stopped up drains. It's also time to winterize your home, service your well pump system, clean your gutters, downspouts, and storm drains. For an ounce of prevention or a pound of cure, call Olmsted Plumbing for all your plumbing needs. 828-245-7302. Offices at 470 Washington Street in Forest City and now at 1204 South Post Road in Shelby.
At Raymond James, we believe in the power of freedom. The freedom to invest in your future, to make choices that align with your goals, and to pursue success with confidence. Experience the freedom to invest, the freedom to make choices, and the freedom to pursue your success with our dedicated team. Contact us today. Raymond James, life well planned.
Dependable trucks, SUVs, and cars are selling fast for a good reason at STS Auto Sales in Rutherford. Inventory changes often, so go to the STS Auto Sales Facebook page for new arrivals. STS goes the extra mile to recognize potential problems before the vehicle is even put on the lot, ensuring you a dependable vehicle. All come with a 3-month, 3,000-mile powertrain warranty, no dock fees, low mileage, and easy financing. So use your tax refund as down payment. See Scott Brown, owner of STS Auto Sales, Charlotte Road in Rutherford.
I'm District Attorney Ted Bell, and I'm asking for your vote for re-election in the Republican primary. One of the areas we particularly focus on is child sexual predators, and we have sent these monsters to prison for the longest sentences in the history of our district. Sentences of up to 175 years in prison. As District Attorney, I do everything I can to fight crime and protect our children. Please vote for me, Ted Bell, for re-election as District Attorney in the Republican primary on March 3rd. Thank you. Paid for by the committee to elect Ted Bell.
This is Sheriff Aaron Ellenberg. Rutherford County is my home, my family's home, and I want nothing more than to see it thrive. That starts with proven law enforcement, strong leadership, and safe neighborhoods for every family. With more than 26 years of law enforcement experience and a dedicated staff, we've made real progress, finding real solutions to today's challenges and making Rutherford County safe for all. I'm proud of what we've accomplished in my first term, from our streets to our detention center. And with your support, we'll keep moving the Sheriff's Office forward for everyone. Please vote the Republican primary on March 3rd, paid for by a committee to elect Aaron Ellenberg for Sheriff.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. We need to get started. It is 5:30 sharp, and I want to just thank you all. My name is Cindy Cobb. I am the Executive Director, and I would like to thank you on behalf of the Rutherford County Chamber of Commerce for joining us for tonight's night one of the Meet the Candidates. We will have two more. We will have the legislative, which will be our county commissioners, and the state level jobs, representative and Senate. For night two, that will be Tuesday, the 27th of January. It'll be here at the same time. And then on Thursday, February the 5th, we'll be hosting the Board of Education. And we're doing 3 of them because this year there are so many candidates. At tonight's, we do have all of the candidates for sheriff, DA, the clerk of court, and the seat 1 for district court judge, and that's District 41, the one that we're in. The seats 2 and 3, they're running unopposed, so they're not joining us tonight, but it's very excited to see that all the candidates showed up. What this is all about is the chamber. We're neutral, we're nonpartisan, we're interested in what is the best policy. We don't play politics. So with that in mind, I want to just go over a few of the forum rules. This is a small town friendly town hall meeting. Don't look at your TV and think of the way town hall meetings can be in other big cities. This is Rutherford County. We're small town friendly, and we're going to keep it that way, okay? So, for the forum, this is for our candidates, but also for you to know. All the candidates will receive equal time. There will be no interruptions, none. When it happens, we'll just shut down, and I mean it. We will not allow chaos to break out. So no interruptions, and also no personal attacks. That does not go along with small town friendly, and it's also not about policy. Candidates must stop speaking when the time is called, and we do have our time clock. And I have my assistant that is going to, with a little whistle, to let you know when your time is up. Each, like I say, gets equal time. And also, you can applaud, but make it brief. We don't want to take up a whole lot of time with applause. Also, no signs, no disruptions or demonstrations. This is not the place for it. So that's pretty much the thing. So as far as, audience, I think that pretty much lets you know, and I think you all are good folks. We shouldn't have any problem, right? So we just want to keep it in that small town friendly platform. And we look forward to doing this 2 more times, and then every time we have an election. This is a new tradition for the chamber. And, we will start with the sheriff's candidates, and then during the break, we'll have you go sit down. I encourage the candidates after we go through that you will stay, because we hope there'll be some time for meet and greets. And that way, as you meet with the candidates, something that is a question you'd like to answer, it can be done in a way that doesn't cause any chaos. You can just ask them personally, okay? So the next group that will come up after the sheriffs are the DA candidates. Then we'll follow with clerk of court, and then we'll end with the judges. And I'd like to thank, again, all of you for coming out. I'd like to thank Waggy for agreeing to video this, and Chad Medford for setting up all the equipment and whatnot that could make this possible, so that those that couldn't be here can see it later. So with that in mind, it's videoed. So candidates, video can come back to bite you. So this is a chance that can be in your favor, or it can really haunt you. So think about your conduct. Think about how you answer. The time will start as soon as you start speaking. Okay, so be careful. Don't promise something that you can't fulfill, because it will come back. It's on video and on YouTube. A lot of people can save it, A lot of people can share it. So just keep that in mind. But once again, we just thank you, the candidates and each of you that sent in questions. And we tried to go through the questions and look at them, what was relevant, what was ethical, because as you know, there are certain questions for district attorneys and judges that we can't ask where there's litigation or something going on. So we're trying to be very respectful of all of that and not waste a lot of time with something we know they can't answer, okay? So just keep that in mind. If you wonder, I sent this in, why was it not asked? So let's get started. We'll take a quick break. I'll ask the sheriff's candidates to come up, and we'll start with the incumbent right here, and then as follows. Okay, thank you.
This is Sheriff Aaron Ellenberg. Rutherford County is my home, my family's home, and I want nothing more than to see it thrive. That starts with proven law enforcement, strong leadership, and safe neighborhoods for every family. With more than 26 years of law enforcement experience and a dedicated staff, we've made real progress, finding real solutions to today's challenges and making Rutherford County safe for all. I'm proud of what we've accomplished in my first term, from our streets to our detention center. And with your support, we'll keep moving the sheriff's office forward for everyone. Please vote the Republican primary on March 3rd, paid for by a committee to elect Aaron Ellenberg for sheriff.
I'm District Attorney Ted Bell, and I'm asking for your vote for re-election in the Republican primary. One of the areas we particularly focus on is child sexual predators, and we have sent these monsters to prison for the longest sentences in the history of our district. Sentences of up to 175 years in prison. As District Attorney, I do everything I can to fight crime and protect our children. Please vote for me, Ted Bell, for re-election as District Attorney in the Republican primary on March 3rd. Thank you. Paid for by the committee to elect Ted Bell.
Dependable trucks, SUVs, and cars are selling fast for a good reason at STS Auto Sales in Rutherford. Inventory changes often, so go to the STS Auto Sales Facebook page for new arrivals. STS goes the extra mile to recognize potential problems before the vehicle is even put on the lot, ensuring you a dependable vehicle. All come with a 3-month, 3,000-mile powertrain warranty, no dock fees, low mileage, and easy financing. So use your tax refund as down payment. See Scott Brown, owner of STS Auto Sales, Charlotte Road in Rutherford.
Good evening again, everyone. We have seated here the candidates for sheriff in Rutherford County, North Carolina. Starting left, going to the right, we have our incumbent, Sheriff Aaron Ellenberg, and we have Jamie Dunn and Jason Weiss. And okay, and so we will start with the incumbent, but the questions will not always start with the incumbent. We will go down, so next time it will be Jamie, and so on, okay? All right, Aaron Ellenberg, as incumbent in your role as sheriff, what is the hardest part of your job, and also what is the most rewarding?
The hardest part of the job is basically you're responsible for the whole county, making the proper decisions that affects each and every one of our lives. The most rewarding is to see being able to help change lives. And that's one thing that's been very important as me as the sheriff is we've been able to do a lot of good here and been able to see this county transition from where we were in 22 when I took office to now. And also seeing individuals that we've encountered, seeing lives change. And that's the most rewarding to me.
Okay, thank you. The next questions will be for Jamie Dunn and Jason Weiss. What differences in leadership, priorities, or approach would you bring to the sheriff's office compared to the current administration? I'm sorry, can you, pull your mic up a little bit closer.
The experience that I bring makes a big difference. My 24 years of experience was actually on the streets of Rutherford County, with the exception of when I took a little hiatus from the state of North Carolina and went and worked in South Carolina on Interstate 85. What I did there was introduce me.
Okay. Yeah. We're going to let you start over, Jamie, so everybody can hear you.
Yeah, re-ask the question. You definitely can hear now.
Okay.
I will say this. They teach you when you go to class on testifying in court that if a lawyer's after you and he's like hammering you with question after
Just a
question
reminder,
after
we
question,
have 2 minutes
I'll
to
get it.
answer the question. So we don't
always
want to
ask them to
elaborate on
re-ask
other
the
things.
question. So what would I bring? My experience. That's the biggest difference between me and anybody sitting up here is I have actual 24 years of experience on the road, working the streets of Rutherford County. I've been in the ditches. I've been in the trenches. I've done all of the positions that you can imagine except for SRO and civil. The reason I chose not to ever pursue those positions is because they were, honestly, I must just say it the way it is, they were boring. I always wanted to be where the action was. I wanted to be out there, meaning that my career helped put my name out there a lot, good and bad. So that's what I would bring to the table as my experience. That's what sets me apart from everybody else.
Okay. Jason Weiss. Okay, thank you. You got in under the buzzer. Jason, I'll ask that again. What differences in leadership, priorities, or approach would you bring to the sheriff's office compared to the current administration? Keep that in mind, that last part, compared to the current administration.
Well, responsibility is a two-part word. What's your response and what's your ability? Right now, my ability is lacking because I'm not the high sheriff. And we're not going to dive in deep on negativity because I'm not here to tear a man down. I'm here to raise the standard. But responsibility is a twofold word. And what is our responsibility as voters sitting in the audience tonight is to think about who's going to represent this county the best. Who's going to favoritism one group over another? I'll give you 10 reasons not to vote for me. If you're happy with the status quo, don't vote for me. But I'm not here tonight to tear nobody down. I love Aaron. I love Brother Jamie. Since I've got to know him a little bit, my job is to try to bring people together and clean up a lot of the housekeeping that needs to be cleaned up. I'll name what's broke if you want me to, but I don't think you want me to go there.
How much time do we have? You have 1 minute. If you'd like to discuss any of that, you can, because that would be any differences and priorities.
I'd rather not go down that road tonight.
Well, that's your decision. So are you finished then?
Yes.
Well, okay.
You need to pass
Thank you.
this magic
No,
mic.
we've got them.
All right. Jamie, this question will be for you. What specific steps will you take to enhance public safety and law enforcement presence in the Cliffside, Mooresboro area, and how will you ensure consistent and equitable service to this community?
So first and foremost, having worked road patrol as a night shift supervisor, there was many, many nights that I worked just me and 2 deputies in the entire county. So first and foremost, what I would do is my road captain, instead of being like I was told, if you need me, call me. When it hits the fan, I didn't have time to call people. It was hitting the fan. I had to deal with it with what resources I had. So my biggest thing is I'd have a shift minimum. We're not going to have a shift operating under 5. Right now they operate 7. I strongly believe that we need 8, 9, or 10 to really affect what we need to do. And I think everybody up here will agree with that. So my biggest goal is to push for more deputies on the shift, but we have a minimum. So I go back to my leadership. In my leadership, I won't have a captain that tells a lieutenant, if you need help, call me at home. If the captain can't find somebody to replace and get that shift up to at least 5 per shift, he will come in and work himself. And that's not sitting at the office. He will be out there answering calls. I find out Monday morning that my shift went under 5 with 4 or 3. The captain's going to be finding him a new spot, probably on the road as a deputy. So having worked night shift most of my career outside of my narcotics time and my interdiction time, I know what it's like to be shorthanded. I know what it's like to be in Cliffside. I will say this for the question, I actually live between Caroline and Ellenborough, more of a rock's throw to Caroline. So the lower end of the county is very, very important to me. So that's what I would do, is we're going to improve what resources we have. We're going to make sure that we move people around if we need to, and we're going to try our best to get more deputies through the county commissioners. And I know that's something that the current sheriff has to fight now. Whoever of us wins this is still going to be fighting that. So win or lose, if either one of these guys win, stand behind them, because they, just as I do, we all know we need more road patrol.
Okay, thank you, Jamie. Jason?
Will you repeat that question?
I will. Each one will have the question asked before. What specific steps will you take to enhance public safety and law enforcement presence in the Cliffside, Mooresboro area, and how will you ensure consistent and equitable service to this community?
Wonderful. I was born and raised in Henrietta, so I know where our community suffers at. NAFTA took out the meals. The doctors started overprescribing opioids. Rutherford County gets a lot of grant monies every year from those opioids. There's officers standing on these streets at daylight every morning picking up syringes on this rail trail in Spindale. I'm not going to favoritism Henrietta, my hometown, over any other part of this county, any township. Every part of this county needs to be, that's my responsibility, to treat everyone right. So I want to see presence and boots on the ground like we've never had before. I believe in community policing. That means you get out of your patrol car, you see somebody out in the field, you go talk to them. I mean, you want to solve crime, you got to talk to people and build relationships. The Cliffside, Mooresboro area is a distressed area. Most people know that in the county. But the drug problem we've got is a bad problem. But with God's help, all things are possible. And I look to my Maker, because that's the only reason I'm here tonight. I felt called in 2013 to seek this office, and I've never quit pursuing. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Aaron Ellenberg, what specific steps will you take to enhance public safety and law enforcement presence in the Cliffside, Mooresboro area, and how will you ensure consistent and equitable service to this community? Or how have you been addressing that?
Yes, ma'am. So I took my 26 years of law enforcement experience in different aspects, from being a police officer here in the cities to the sheriff's office as a road officer to a state law enforcement agent into my role now. So I took all that. What can we do? When I took over as sheriff, the issue was drugs. A lot of drugs, homeless, a lot of things that's affected this county. And basically from day one, we started looking at things, taking very experienced administration around me. What can we do to help Rutherford County? And we done away with one division, great officers, but we wanted to make the drug unit bigger. And a lot of people said, well, we see more deputies on the road now. It's not that we've got more deputies, it's just where I combined a unit and put them in marked cars, and we've actually hit the streets in the problem areas of the county, and that's how we've been so successful in taking drugs off the streets.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right, Jason, you will have the first question now.
Thank you.
What law enforcement certifications and ongoing training do you believe are important for a sheriff? And how do you currently meet and maintain those standards?
Well, as many of you know, I'd ran 3 times in this county without a law enforcement credential. I'm a businessman. I manage a pretty, this small portfolio compared to some, but Nonetheless, I spent my time over at Isothermal Community College and obtained the BLET. I graduated with the 85th class. Each year I do 24 hours mandatory training. My current law enforcement certificate is held with Polk County Sheriff's Office. I like the POPAP myself. I'd like to see deputies that are able to perform. If you have to be able to do it to pass the academy, you might as well say we need to be able to do it 10 years in on the job. I may not be the fast runner anymore that I used to be when I was in my 20s, but we still need to be able to run a little bit and still need to be able to clear that 4-foot fence at minimum. And those push-ups, it won't hurt you to do some push-ups. So that's kind of where I'm at with the fitness part. Did I hit all your bullet points?
If that's what you would like to answer, the B, that'll work.
Well,
I'm not going to tell you how to answer.
Now, there at the same time, I'm not trying to get deputies that may future want to vote for me or vote against me because I said that, right? So there again, I want to see improvement. If you can't do but a half of a push-up this year, next year, let's see you do a couple. I mean, if you're working at something, you can do it. I want to see everything improve. I'm tired of stuff getting stagnant.
Okay.
I approve that message.
Okay. All right, Sheriff Aaron Ellenberg, what law enforcement law enforcement certifications and ongoing training do you believe are important for a sheriff, and how do you currently meet those standards?
Okay. First of all, as a sheriff, you do not even have to have a certification to hold this office. But to be in this office, hold it as a sheriff, be a leader, I've actually, like I said, I've got 26 years of law enforcement under my belt now, and currently I still maintain the same training as my officers that I oversee every day. So I don't have to do that, but I continue to do it, and everything is recorded with the state of North Carolina.
Okay, thank you. All right, now, Jamie Dunn.
I'll let you read it again, please.
Yes, definitely. What law enforcement certifications and ongoing training do you believe are important for a sheriff, and how do you currently meet and maintain those standards?
So my biggest thing is I think that the certifications and the training is very, very, very important. I will say that's one thing I'm super proud of. I encourage everyone to go to my Facebook page, and I have a long list of certifications and training. I'm very proud of it. I got told one time, sounds like you're bragging about it. Yeah, I'm bragging about it because I spent every minute earning everything that I got. It was hard, it was long, took away from my family, but every certification and training I've got, I earned it, and I'm proud of it. Now, as far as what I would do, I would encourage officers to kind of set a basis. They have what's called an advanced law enforcement certificate, which I possess, the current sheriff possesses it also. But that's kind of a standard, kind of a role model to gain enough training to be able to get this certificate. It's not something that you can get in 1 or 2 years, but you can keep working towards it until you get that advanced law enforcement certificate. And I don't know, Sheriff may know the hours right offhand, but it's a lot of years of experience, it's a lot of training to be able to get awarded that certificate. So that is one thing that I'm super proud of, that I finally did the paperwork on and achieved. But that would be the model that I would say, start working towards getting the training hours in whatever specialized area that you want to do. Most of my training was done in the narcotics type field. So find if you want to be a detective, you want to be narcotics, or whatever field you want to go in, pursue those hours of training. The Justice Academy offers those for free. It's just a matter of manpower and time. Can we send them up there? But those hours and that training is free. So I would say use a role model, try to get your advanced law enforcement certificate. That's kind of a broad way of saying if you can achieve that advanced law enforcement certificate, you have gotten a lot of training.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, your 2 minutes are up, but we appreciate your answer. Now, Sheriff Aaron Ellenberg, what are the legal and certification requirements to carry a firearm, and do you currently meet those requirements?
So yes, so once again, a sheriff is not required to go through qualification, but I still maintain that qualification every year,
Okay.
as my deputies and as any other officer certified in the state of North Carolina does.
Okay. All right. Jamie Dunn.
Let me get you to read it again for me.
Okay. What are the legal and certification requirements to carry a firearm, and do you currently meet those requirements?
So the legal certification to carry a firearm for, I assume the question is asking about a deputy or a sworn officer, is you have to pass mandatory training and a mandatory qualification course. I am not currently in law enforcement right now, but I can pass them. I have passed them for 24 years, and if elected sheriff, I will pass them again.
Okay. Thank you. Jason Weiss. What are the legal and certification requirements to carry a firearm, and do you currently meet those requirements?
Yes, I do. They're pretty straightforward with the academy and how you maintain those. And Polk County Sheriff's Office has a little bit higher standard than some offices on the shooting. You've got to be able to hit your target because you're responsible for every round that comes out the end of that gun, right? But when the sheriff said a while ago that he kept up with current law enforcement officer training, he did when he graduated the academy. But when I was over there to get tased, I said, Sheriff, you're not going to get tased with me?
Well, just keep this in mind. This is not
I-
a interaction
That's
going
right.
on. Just answer the question
Yes,
if you would,
I can-
please.
I'm licensed to carry a taser too, and I approve that message.
Okay, thank you. All right. Now, the next question. And I'm sorry, Jamie.
It's good.
Okay. What do you see as the most pressing public safety or justice-related needs in Rutherford County? And how can your office make a meaningful difference if you're elected sheriff?
So right now, in my opinion, the biggest public safety need is we need to figure out a way. We will never stop all narcotics from coming in the county. I remember as a long-time patrol officer, I remember when meth first started making its way into our county. We would literally see it just a little bit bigger than the grain of salt is what we were dealing with, because we wasn't dealing with ounces. As time progressed, we started dealing with ounces and then even literally seeing pounds. But what would happen is they would pour it in a floorboard. It looked like a grain of sand or dirt or whatever, and we missed it. So now the county's facing fentanyl. That is the biggest problem we see now is fentanyl. So that is the biggest public safety concern. I'm not going to sit here and say that I would stop all drugs, because I'm not. Do I think that the current sheriff's office is doing a great job on drugs? The deputies are doing outstanding. Honestly, if you rode a day with them, you'd understand the job that they are doing. They are doing a great, great job. So that is my biggest thing right now on public safety. I think that we need to figure out a way to try to curb it. We're never going to stop it, but we need to be hardcore. We need to be out there. I'm kind of a blunt person. I like saying stuff the way it is. We need to be in the drug dealers' faces every time they turn around. They need to know our names. I was very proud of that. If you watch Facebook, you see my name gets slandered all the time. But it was because I was out there in the drug dealers' faces, on their level, out there trying to arrest them. When you're out there arresting drug dealers, they hate you. They will
Okay,
make up
you have
lies.
30 seconds.
And that's the biggest public safety thing I see right now is the drugs that are in our county.
Okay, thank you. All right. Sheriff Ellenberg, what do you see as the most pressing and public safety or justice-related needs in Rutherford County? And how, and if you're reelected, how do you and how would your office make a meaningful difference?
Okay, one of the things that's really affecting our county right now is mental health. Mental health goes along with drug abuse, and the mental health aspect of things is affecting each and every one of us in this room, from our personal lives to our emergency services, hospitals, everything. So we need to work harder to come up with a solution, which this is not a county issue, it's not a state issue, it's a nationwide issue, but more money's got to come in to help and deal with this crisis that's affecting us. Me and my chief, actually, before I got here this afternoon, we'd actually been in our jail, and it's full of mental health issues that we're dealing with right now, and our detention officers are having to deal with this on a daily basis, And again, we deal with it out here on the streets, then it goes in our detention center. And there's no answer to it as of right now. The ones that's waiting on beds for Broughton, which is our only real resource, they're in there for months waiting on beds. So that's one of the biggest issues, along with the drug issue, that we're fighting, that we have really put a hard crackdown on. And like Dunn said, we have got in the drug dealers' faces, and we have taken them to jail and sent many off already. And we're going to continue that fight as hard as we can go. Thank you.
Thank you. Jason Weiss, what do you see as the most pressing public safety or justice-related needs in Rutherford County? And how can your office, if you're elected sheriff, make a meaningful difference?
You know, the revolving door with the drug issue is a real door. And until somebody goes to the legislature and gets a little bit of funding to help take care of some of these problems while they're sitting in our timeout, our jail, so they can be successful when they come back onto the streets, we're just spinning our wheels. And that's my response, and that'll be my ability to talk to my legislatures about having a program start in this county going forward. And I hope every county in the world will model that same thing if we can be successful. But if you keep doing things the way you've always been doing, you're going to continue to have the same problems that you've got right now. I'm not here to beat nobody up, but we've got a body scanner. We claim that we're transparent. We put out Facebook posts. We went from using...
Keep in mind to stay with the question, please. How your office would be different
We
if
will
it's
be using the
transparency.
body scanner even on the employees. Not just 700 scans a month, not 17 or 1,800 scans a month. We'll be doing thousands of scans a month because I want a clean facility. We've had 10 to overdose inside that jail. 2 have succumbed to it, where we had to pay officers to stay at Mission Hospital for over a week with the last one. My responsibility is to do my best, and that's all I'm here for, okay? Whether you like me or not, I'm here to do my best. I'm not here to tear somebody down. I'm here to lift up the whole county.
Okay, thank you. All right. So our next question, I'm going to set this up for you. So we've touched on it somewhat. Rutherford County has experienced an increase in individuals who are unhoused, and many of them who are struggling with substance use and mental health challenges. This is something that we discuss a lot as the Chamber of Commerce, meeting with business owners, and also our nonprofits. They're providing those resources, and we do need, there is a need for more. But as a rural county, we are limited with treatment and the support resources, and these issues often intersect with the justice system. Now here's the question, and Jason, I will start with you.
Wonderful.
From the perspective of the office of sheriff that you're seeking, how do you believe the justice system should respond to these challenges in a way that balances public safety, accountability, and compassion? And additionally, what are your views on the use of problem-solving approaches such as a drug court? And do you believe that they have a role in addressing these issues in Rutherford County?
That's the largest question you've asked me tonight. Thank you so much. If I hit on 2 or 3 points, I hope that'll suffice. I've only have 2 minutes.
If you need me to ask
That's
something else, I will.
Good. Like I say with the mental health, if we can legislate to where we can get some help inside the timeout center, if you will, the jail, the local jail, to get people back on a track, to be proactive, working citizenry, right? But like I said, NAFTA took our jobs. A lot of doctors were overprescribing medications, which got a lot of them out of this world. I've got a mirror downstairs. People's been signing tonight. There's one gentleman in here. There's people succumbing to overdose. It's a real thing, and I don't want to forget the people. I want to write their names down and remember them. I had friends of mine that's died, and it's not fun, okay? There's a lot of help to do. The sheriff's office is only a small office, right? But it's a powerful office. And with the help of the Lord, all things are possible. But, you know, the legislature needs to do a little bit more. We need to expand some of the medical services to some of these. There's even veterans on this homeless trail walking, and I've tried to help them. But I ask them one question: can you pass a drug test right now? And if they tell me no, I can't help them. But if they can, I'll bend over backwards to help somebody, try to get clean, find them housing, and get them a job. You know, I'm not going to evict nobody without no paperwork. I'm not going to stoop to those levels just because I'm the high sheriff. I'm going to do what's right when everybody's looking and when nobody's looking.
Okay, thank you. All right, Sheriff Ellenberg. I'll repeat the question because it is a long question. From the perspective of the office of sheriff, which you're currently in and are continuing to seek re-election, how do you believe the justice system should respond to these challenges in a way that balances public safety, accountability, and compassion? Additionally, what are your views on the use of this problem-solving approach? And are you in favor of something such as drug court, and do you believe they have a role in addressing these issues in Rutherford County?
I am in favor of the drug court. I think that'd be a huge asset. I remember early on in my career, them having that here in Rutherford County, and that went away sometime later. But one of the things that problem solving, trying to make a difference here in this county, it's unfortunate a lot of these people go through hard times in their lives, and this is how life is taking them to be incarcerated. These people have families that love them, families that care about them, and it's our job to do our job. We're still going to be hard on crime, putting people in jail. But again, we can show love and compassion to these individuals. And my jail, we've actually, since I've become sheriff, we've got mental health in there twice a week. We've got NC Works helping them get jobs now. We've got ICC coming in helping do the GED program. We've got Pisgah Legal helping them get on Medicaid. We've got NAAA meetings now. We've got a lot of things helping these people try to get their lives turned around. And also, a lot of people disagree, but it's okay to disagree with this. But again, these people have families that love them. And as long as they don't have any kind of restriction around their children at Easter, Christmas, things like that, we'll allow them to spend time with a family. And when they're off of drugs, they're at their senses to a certain extent. But they realize what they've done. And when they leave that gathering, it hits them hard. And I think helping these people change their lives is going to be beneficial for all of us.
Okay, thank you. All right, Jamie Dunn. I'll repeat the question.
All right.
Because it is long.
Yes.
From the perspective of the office of sheriff that you are seeking, how do you believe the justice system should respond to these challenges in a way that balances public safety, accountability, and compassion? Additionally, what are your views on the use of problem-solving approaches such as a drug court? And do you believe that they have a role in addressing these issues in Rutherford County?
It's a very long question. So my first thing is, and I wrote some of these down because I had the opportunity to be the last person in line to go on this. So first and foremost, public safety is going to be the number one thing. We've all seen on TV shows where people with mental illnesses and stuff have went out, shot up businesses, everything else. I understand the mental illness, but public safety will be first and foremost. Public safety and officer safety. I'm not going to allow officers to go out here and get hurt because someone's going through a mental episode. It's just how I stand. So that's the first thing, public safety, and then officer safety. As far as inside the jail, the average recovery, if I'm not mistaken, is 6 months to a year. Most of these people are not in the county jail for that long. Now, can we help them get started on treatment programs and stuff? Absolutely. But we're not solving the world's problems with people who are going to be in there 30, 60, 90 days. Now, there is other people that stay longer, but I believe honestly that it ought to be the court-ordered thing that says even if you get out of jail in 30, 60, 90 days, you're going to attend treatment programs. That's part of your release. That's how I feel that we accomplish things in long term. We're not solving problems in 30 days. I mean, people agree with me or don't disagree with me, but most of the time in 30 days, those people are not there and they've not turned their lives around enough to where they're going to say that I want to go to treatment. We're going to have to take it further. So I think that maybe court ordered, that's how we do that. And the other thing that I mentioned off of here, I think the drug court's a good thing because I just told you guys the judges can order them to seek treatment. That can happen in drug court. So I'm a big, big fan of drug court. I'm not a big fan of,
I'm sorry, your time's up.
Okay.
And listen, I appreciate each one of you gentlemen coming and answering our questions. We hope the public feels better informed with getting an idea of their policies, the platform that they each stand on. And we will have to take a short commercial break since this is being videoed. I'd ask you gentlemen to have a seat. And so we'll do the commercial break while they are being seated. And if you would, please take your water, and I'll ask our district attorneys to come forward. And once again, I encourage you, if at all possible, to stay so you can have a meet and greet afterwards. Thank you all.
Thank you. This is Sheriff Aaron Ellenberg. Rutherford County is my home, my family's home, and I want nothing more than to see it thrive. That starts with proven law enforcement, strong leadership, and safe neighborhoods for every family. With more than 26 years of law enforcement experience and a dedicated staff, we've made real progress, finding real solutions to today's challenges and making Rutherford County safe for all. I'm proud of what we've accomplished in my first term, from our streets to our detention center. And with your support, we'll keep moving the Sheriff's Office forward for everyone. Please vote the Republican primary on March 3rd, paid for by a committee to elect Aaron Ellenberg for Sheriff.
I'm District Attorney Ted Bell, and I'm asking for your vote for re-election in the Republican primary. One of the areas we particularly focus on is child sexual predators, and we have sent these monsters to prison for the longest sentences in the history of our district. Sentences of up to 175 years in prison. As District Attorney, I do everything I can to fight crime and protect our children. Please vote for me, Ted Bell, for re-election as District Attorney in the Republican primary on March 3rd. Thank you. Paid for by the committee to elect Ted Bell.
Dependable trucks, SUVs, and cars are selling fast for a good reason at STS Auto Sales in Rutherford. Inventory changes often, so go to the STS Auto Sales Facebook page for new arrivals. STS goes the extra mile to recognize potential problems before the vehicle is even put on the lot, ensuring you a dependable vehicle. All come with a 3-month, 3,000-mile powertrain warranty, no dock fees, low mileage, and easy financing. So use your tax refund as down payment. See Scott Brown, owner of STS Auto Sales, Charlotte Road in Rutherford.
At Raymond James, we believe in the power of freedom. The freedom to invest in your future, to make choices that align with your goals, and to pursue success with confidence. Experience the freedom to invest, the freedom to make choices, and the freedom to pursue your success with our dedicated team. Contact us today. Raymond James, life well planned.
I want you to love your plumbing as much as I love mine. That's why I want you to call Olmsted Plumbing for all your plumbing needs. It's fall of the year, and Olmsted Plumbing is excited about prepping for the fall season. Changing weather always triggers broken water lines and stopped up drains. It's also time to winterize your home, service your well pump system, clean your gutters, downspouts, and storm drains. For an ounce of prevention or a pound of cure, call Homestead Plumbing for all your plumbing needs. 828-245-7302. Offices at 470 Washington Street in Forest City and now at 1204 South Post Road in Shelby.
March 3rd, 2026. Elect Jamie Dunn, Sheriff of Rutherford County, because this county deserves leadership that tells the truth. He knows that drug numbers, arrests, and real progress don't come from one man. They come from the hard-working deputies risking their lives every day. He's been one of them, and he has always stood with them. As sheriff, his priorities are simple: protect our families, support our deputies, and bring this county honest leadership we can trust. With 24 years of experience, he knows how to get things done. Vote Jamie Dunn, Sheriff. Paid for by the committee to elect Jamie Dunn, Sheriff.
Vote David Norris, District Attorney, March 2026. A Rutherford County native, David Norris has 30 years of legal experience with nearly 23 in the District Attorney's Office as an Assistant DA. David has proven his ability to fight and prosecute difficult cases. David Norris is a veteran of 16 years serving in the U.S. Army. If you believe that our criminal justice system needs change, vote David Norris, District Attorney, March 2026. Paid for by David Norris for District Attorney.
Oh, that's wag. Hey. Good. Thank you. Okay, we need our candidates at the front.
I don't want to watch that.
It's recorded.
Okay. Welcome back, everyone. I hope everyone had a chance to stretch their legs, and hopefully we got more seats for everyone. It's great to see a packed house. With me now are our candidates for District Attorney. We have incumbent Ted Bell, and we have David Norris, who is running for the District Attorney seat. We will do much like we did before, but this time with only two candidates. We'll ask a question to our incumbent first, then we'll go to David, but then the next question will start with David also. So, first question, much like we did with the sheriffs. This is for you. As District Attorney, what is your hardest part of the job and what is the most rewarding?
I think the hardest part of the job is the emotional situations you end up with. You're dealing with people in the worst time of their lives, both victims and, frankly, defendants, and trying to see, especially for the victims, trying to see them through that darkness and trying to get them some resolve to their situation within the limits of what the law restricts us to. That is the hardest part of the job, in my opinion. Conversely, the best part of the job is when you do that and you're successful and you see the victims through that darkness and you just see the relief in their eyes and just the gratitude in their voices when you've managed to get them through that period of time. That's the best part of the job.
Thank you. And this next one, David, from what I understand, you have served in the office of the district attorney before. When you were there, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, was the assistant
That's correct.
DA? What did you find as the hardest part of the job, and what did you find most rewarding?
So I was an assistant DA for nearly 23 years. And to echo some of what Mr. Bell is saying, that is a tough part, going through these people that are looking to you for some answers. To having some tough cases that you're having to look at parents and say, hey, your kid's going to have to get on a stand, and they're going to have to recount this stuff, to having to go into a mock trial where you have these kids out there and, the day before court going through that. That's tough. It's tough for you. It's tough for you to take it home to your family. That whole part's tough. The best part for me has been, I'm cheap, I go to Dollar General, is to go through the line at Dollar General and see somebody that I don't know who they are, I don't remember them, to look at you and say, I appreciate you taking up that case for me. And you say, I don't remember that case. And I say, you stood up for me in court. You not remember that. And just one of these, after, I've done this for going 31 years, it's tough to remember everyone. But to have that person say, if you hadn't have stood up for me, I wouldn't be here today. That's the best part about that job. It doesn't happen every day, but when it does happen, it's worth all the rest of it.
Okay, thank you. Now, I'm gonna set things up for you, and this will be for David to begin with, and then Ted, you'll follow. So, Rutherford County residents often interact with the justice system, as you all mentioned, during a very stressful moment, and many people are unsure how decisions are made after an arrest. These following questions are intended to help our public better understand how the system works locally. As candidates, I'm asking you to speak in general terms about the role of district attorney and the process, and if you would not, I'm not asking you to comment on a specific case or to make commitments about any future decisions, just in general, what would you say? And this question would be for you, David.
So the role of district attorney is to represent the people in this room, the people in the state of North Carolina, the people in Rutherford and McDowell counties, in criminal court. That's what you do. Your job is to seek justice. And it's not to seek justice as the way you would want it, but to seek justice is what the law says that you have to do. And so that's a role. The biggest, and you go through this, we've been getting out the last 9 months. We've been trying to educate people on how the system works, because people are upset that the system is not working the way it's supposed to. But we've been educating when an officer charges a case and it goes to court, how many days should we wait? Should we wait, you get victims that come up and say, I have a family member that was in court, it got continued 3 times. How many times can it get continued? So it's just explaining to the public that not only do you represent all these people, but at the same time, the DA needs to get out and educate these people, and this is how the system works. The more you know of how the system works, the more you can understand what's not working correctly. And I think it's part of the district attorney's job, just get, not during the election season, not every 4 years, but get out there every month. Go to a club, one of these Rutherford clubs, go to one of these fire departments like we've got, go to one of these places where they're asking tons of questions of how does the system work? I think that's part of what the DA does too, because the more educated you are, the more you understand this job.
Thank you. Just to follow up to that, we know each case is different. Each arrest is different. There's different degrees.
Do I get to
Oh, no, this is a follow-up for
Okay.
him, and then you'll get the same opportunity, okay? So can you explain, just in general terms, like how the prosecutor decides how to pursue those charges, or decide to reduce them, or even decline prosecution, and also what factors are typically considered, and how does your office, or how would your office balance like public safety, fairness, and the responsible use of the county's resources?
So one of the difficult things when I would train new assistant DAs, and there's probably a dozen I've trained over the years, to be able to call a calendar is easy, to be able to read the names is easy, to be able to figure out charges is easy. The difficult thing is what to do with each case. What is the right thing to do? The only way you can do that is through experience. You got to have a mentor with you to say, when you get this that comes up, or this type of case, this is what you need to look for. So for example, not every assault case is the same. Not all the dynamics are the same. If somebody comes in with simple assault.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, it's only 30 seconds for
Okay.
the follow-up. Okay, and District Attorney Bell, Once again, with that first question, and like I say, we don't want to do anything as far as any specific cases or make a commitment that could be held against you later with any future decisions. But in general, how would you explain how the process goes with, a DA in that role? What does your office, what do you do after someone is arrested? How do you go about it?
Wow, that could take hours.
Well, let's get the condensed version.
So, law enforcement charges somebody, the case comes into our office. We kind of start working on two different things simultaneously. We have several assistants in our office that are responsible for the victim side and the initial victim contact. They'll send out the victim's impact statement. They'll get contact information for the victim, reach out to the victim, and start to work with them and advising them of what's going on, what's coming up. Meanwhile, the prosecutor takes the case, starts reviewing the case, interacts with law enforcement, determines if there's more information needed. Do we need further investigation? Is it sufficient? What's the appropriate outcome? And then the prosecutor will meet with the victim and find out what the victim's intentions are. Most of the time, we follow the victim's intentions, but we are here to represent the community and the safety and standards of the community. So if what the victim wants conflicts with what we think is best for the community, then we will not follow the victim's requests in that situation. And the scenario that usually comes up in is domestic violence. You have battered women that don't want their person charged. And when they are charged, they don't want anything to happen. And they're requesting us to dismiss the case. But in that situation, we kind of have to step forward and say, it's not appropriate for us to do that in this situation, I'm sorry. And then we'll work with them on getting through that whole process. And I'm going to save time for that second question.
All right. Yes, so you've touched on it some as far as after they're arrested, but can you explain, just in general terms, as a prosecutor pursuing those charges or decide to reduce or decline the prosecution, and also what factors are played into it with your decision-making? What do you consider, and how does your office go about balancing the public safety, fairness, and the responsible use of our resources here in the county?
Thank you. So, multiple things are looked at. One, what's the strength or weakness of the case? What's our chance of success? What's our chance of getting a guilty verdict? If we get a guilty verdict, what do the sentencing law allow as far as a resolution for that case? We're also interfacing with the victim, like I said, talking with the victim, explaining the sentencing laws to the victim and say, here are the legal options of what the outcome of your case can be. Let's talk about what your desires are. What would you like to see as a result of this?
Okay, thank you. And it is your turn for the next question, and you get 2 minutes. How would your prosecutorial priorities or policies support public safety and accountabilities in communities such as the Cliffside and Mooresboro area, much like what we talked about with the Sheriff's Department? How would you do it as far as when it gets to the prosecution?
So our focus, like I said, is on what's the need of the community, what's the focus on the community, what's the impact on the community. The sheriff's candidates talked about the drug problem, and especially the fentanyl problem within the last 4 years has become a major issue for Rutherford County. In the last 4 years, we have sent over 100 drug dealers to prison for trafficking, and we've achieved some of the largest sentences for trafficking in the history of our district. So we're going to do everything we can to come down like a hammer on the drug dealers, but at the same time we're doing that, we're working with lots of local organizations, both here and in McDowell counties, to get treatment for the drug users. There are lots of programs available to get them treatment through the court system and outside the court system, so we're trying to address that problem. In answer to the question, our focus is constantly being evaluated based on what's going on in the community. What is the current issue in the community? What's the current crime? What do we need to address that is having the most impact on the community, in addition to everything else that's going on in the community? Breaking and entering of our homes hasn't changed in years, decades. One of our policies is if you break into a home, it's a mandatory active sentence. We've sent over 750 people to prison for breaking into our homes. That doesn't change, but other things that ebb and flow within the crime system do change, and we try to constantly be evaluating what our priorities are and what our focus is.
Okay, thank you. And to follow up with that, is there a certain drug, we hear much about fentanyl and that type of thing as being some, but is there a common drug that you see across the board that is causing problems as far as with behavioral and with crime-related instances?
Is this a 30-second answer?
Yes.
Our experience is most of our folks are what's called polydrug users. They will use what they can get. Fentanyl is of significant concern because fentanyl can kill. We didn't have overdose deaths with meth, but we do with fentanyl, and that's why there's such a big concern about fentanyl. But there's also a big concern about meth. There's not one particular drug that people focus on. They'll use what they can get, and so we try to treat the need to get that drug for the users.
Okay, thank you. All right, David, same question for you. If elected to the DA office, how would your prosecutorial priorities or policies support public safety and accountability in communities such as Cliffside and Mooresboro?
So I'll answer that directly because I've been out probably the last 9 months going to each of these little communities. There's some military folks in here. I'm a veteran. They'll understand what I'm saying. So what we're going to do is we're going to assign an assistant DA to an area. So this place that you're talking about, the Cliffside area, and that DA will be responsible for everything that moves, walks, or crawls in that area. If it's a driving while license revoked, if it's a breaking and entering, whatever it is, they'll be responsible for what goes through that area, because what that does is that shows you patterns of conduct. That shows you how people are operating in that area. So if you want to make a difference in that area, you got to have somebody that focuses on that area, not an office, a person, that everything flows through that person. And once you do that, you know how to assign resources to combat that. So if there's an area that is a problem and you do that, you can use areas that aren't problems to put more resources there. You can coordinate with your law enforcement. You can meet with them weekly and say, this is what we're seeing in the criminal context that you may not be seeing, where the highway patrol is charging, but the sheriff's department doesn't know. Where the sheriff's department is charging, and some of your drug folks, some of your drug detectives aren't aware of. But you need that coordination. That needs to flow through a single point of contact. There needs to be one person in the DA's office for these areas that know everything that goes on there.
Okay. And as a follow-up, in your opinion, what would you see as, you know, like we said, fentanyl, that's deadly, but what do you see as the kind of common drug that you see as causing behavioral or criminal activity?
It's fentanyl. And it's not just fentanyl. What you'll see when you get these drug reports back from the state crime lab, it'll be fentanyl mixed with cocaine. There's people who've died that it's fentanyl mixed with marijuana. They had no idea. So when you say fentanyl, it's not necessarily just someone that says, I want fentanyl. It's people who don't even know they're ingesting fentanyl. They have no clue. The people that sell drugs don't have a clean lab. They mix things. And a lot of these people have no clue, but the answer is fentanyl.
Okay, thank you. You got in 30 seconds. This next question again will be for you, David, and then we'll go to Ted. What systems are in place within the DA's office that you're aware of to ensure that ethical and decision-making, public transparency, and assuring the public's confidence in the justice system? What would you see as like the process that you would have, or do you see like this for you to be thinking about what is already in place?
So one thing that I've pointed people to over the last 9 months is a website. It's the North Carolina's official court website, nccourts with an S.gov. When you get to the bottom of that, there's a part that says data and statistics. Click on it. When that comes up, go to the one that says dashboard. And when you hit dashboard, you can pull down all the data and statistics. What you'll see in Rutherford County, as of December 31st, in Superior Court, there's 946 pending cases. You know that because I'm telling you where to find it. 47% of those cases right now are a year old or older. Right now, there are 107 cases in Rutherford County Superior Court that's 3 years old and older. Transparency means you know where to go to find these numbers. I'm not just throwing out numbers to you. You can go find them yourself. And so an office that tells you, not only is this a metric for Ted Bell, but if we get an office, it's the same website. It's the same thing you can come back 2 years from now and say, I went on the website you told me 2 years ago, and I'm watching your progress. I'm watching you do what you said you would do. That's transparency for this office, is letting you see the raw numbers, not some numbers that I put in the category. But you go look at them. Those numbers, again, that is as transparent as you can be. Not some numbers I come up with a category and try to fit it in. But you go look them up, nccourts.gov.
Okay, thank you. Now, Ted, as DA, and you are in this office now, what systems can you tell us about that are in place to ensure the ethical decision-making, transparency, so the public can see it, and ensuring that public confidence in the justice process here in Rutherford County?
One of the great things on that is in October, we went live on this system called Odyssey. It's now statewide. Everything, all the cases, everything is now online, and everybody can go online and look at any particular case and see what the status, see what the history of that case is. But I wanted to take a minute to address that, because if you go onto that same dashboard and you look at the historical data, you'll see that the court system, as you all know, was shut down for a year in COVID. But we still had all the new cases coming in. So we had a whole year where we couldn't dispose of cases, but we still had the same year's worth of cases coming in. One of the things on that dashboard, you'll look at the historical trends. Coming out of COVID, we had a backlog of 1,800 cases, and we've been working that backlog down ever since. 2025, we disposed of 116% of that year's cases. What that means is we disposed of all the cases for the year and took another 16% chunk out of that backlog. Some of the cases that are showing as extreme age are folks that are in Broughton because they've been committed and they're not capable to stand trial. And they might be there for many, many years. So some of those cases are folks that failed to appear, skipped out on their court date, and there's a pending order for their arrest, and that case is still pending. So look at the data. Look at the historical data. And thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. This next question, we'll start with you, Ted. This is the same question I asked the Sheriff's Department, but as the district attorney, what do you see as the most pressing public safety or justice-related needs in Rutherford County, and how can your office make a meaningful difference?
Can you repeat that for me, please?
What do you see as the most pressing public safety or justice-related needs in Rutherford County, and how can your office make a meaningful difference?
The pressing, we've talked about it several times. The most pressing public safety issue in this county is drugs. It's fentanyl, it's meth, it's working its way down to kids, it's working its way into the school system. That's the biggest, in my opinion, public safety issue facing this county. I mentioned how many drug dealers we've sent to prison in the last 4 years. We've sent 10 drug dealers to prison last year alone for death by distribution. That's giving drugs to somebody that causes that person to die. Those 10 convictions, those 10 prison sentences, is the most in the entire state of North Carolina. So a vast majority of what we do is fighting that drug problem, as well as, like I mentioned, we work with lots of local agencies on trying to address treatment issues for these folks. One of our biggest issues is a lack of resources. The state gives us 12 weeks a year in Superior Court to try cases. In 12 weeks, we can try about 30 cases. We have over 1,000 new cases a year. We can only try 30. So if you want a trial and you're number 31, 32, 33, that's going to roll into the next year. We do everything we can to use every available moment of court time that we have. But we don't have enough court time to try the cases. So that also contributes to the backlog.
Okay, thank you. David, what do you see as the most pressing public safety or justice-related needs in Rutherford County? And if you're elected, how would your office make a meaningful difference?
So if you'd asked me that 9 months ago, and I'll stick with this part of it, I would have said we've got a backlog. Those 12 weeks you're talking about, that's 60 days a year. You need to use every day, because you do have 946 cases right now, no matter how you slice it. You do the math. The backlog, the using court time. Currently, they don't use every one of those 60 days. You got to. When I started as a kid lawyer, that was one of the jobs. If you had a court that broke down and you had $1,000 worth of jurors there, you had to call the boss and explain why you would have your job the next day. But the biggest thing that I have learned in the last 9 months, and the biggest problem I think we have, is by and large people have lost their faith in the criminal justice system. People have lost their faith in its ability to prosecute cases in a timely manner, effectively, and do what thing I said at the first, and that's represent all of you as the district attorney. That is the biggest problem I have found, and we can fix that. But the biggest problem I found, meth is a problem, fentanyl is a problem, this backlog's a problem. But we have to restore your faith in this criminal justice system.
Thank you. Now this, I'll set it up again, as just like I asked the sheriff's candidates, but I did think it pertains to the district attorney as well. Rutherford County has experienced an increase. It is something that is talked about among friends. It's something that's talked about definitely on social media, and business owners talk about. Is an increase in individuals who are unhoused. This is creating problems. As the chamber, I can tell you, it has created problems with certain businesses where they wander in. And many of them are struggling with some type of substance use problem or a mental health challenge. And like I'd mentioned before, we're a rural county. We all know that we do have some treatment options here, but we are limited. And, you know, the support resources are limited. And all of these things do intersect with the justice system at some point. So, a question. David, from the perspective of the office of DA that you're seeking, how do you believe the justice system should respond to these challenges in a way that helps to balance public safety, the accountability, and also showing compassion? Additionally, what are your views on the use of the problem-solving approaches, such as mentioned before, like a drug court that we once had? Do you believe that they have a role in addressing the issues in Rutherford County?
So most of these things that you will see that goes along with your question are mental health issues. But remember that the district attorney controls kind of the end user. That's when you get to court. But the question that you have was a long question because it involves the Chamber of Commerce. It involves people out in the community. It involves the local hospital. So the answer to that has got to involve all these people too. It's not a court problem where you dump them on the jail. The jail's not equipped, not housed. They're not a mental health treatment facility. Then you put them in court, and that's why you see a lot of these same people over and over again. That approach has to be a community approach that involves people like the Chamber of Commerce, that involves the hospital from the involuntary commitment program, that involves everyone here and what resources can bring. And I mean the legislature, that's where your money's coming from, to involve everybody, because that problem is not getting better because nobody's addressing as a whole. They're addressing their own little piece. And how does the court system, why does the court system, and the hospital, how are you doing these IVCs, these voluntary commitments? And nobody seems to be putting the whole thing together. So what we need to do is have not a meeting to have a meeting, but have a meaningful, with all the players involved, from the court system to law enforcement to local businesses. What resources can we bring in, because this affects everybody. It's just not a court system issue.
Thank you. Ted, I'll read again. It is a long question. So
I'll in the interest of time, I think.
Okay, you want to, all right, you go with it.
Thank you. Like Mr. Norris mentioned, the court system does not have the resources to be a mental treatment center, and that's not what it was ever designed to be. So the court system does it very badly. But what we can do is take the resources we have and try to use that. What I mean by that is, I mentioned a couple of times we work with multiple local agencies. One of the local agencies we work with is United Way. They have a peer support counselor. They have several peer support counselors that are usually in court most days. They're a great resource that I can rely on to say, okay, this is the problem this person has. What resources are you aware of that we can get them plugged into? Victims are a great help for us in this situation. If it's a victim that knows the defendant, usually in some sort of domestic violence situation or in a neighbor dispute or something where there's some relationship. We get a lot, unfortunately, of parents who are victims of their children. But with those victims, we can go to them and say, what's the issue? What's the underlying issue that led to this? Is it substance abuse? Is it mental health? Is it anger management? And then we can, with that information, line these folks up in directions that we think might be beneficial. Court system can't provide any treatment, but what we can do is try to structure disposition, structure sentences to get them to some place that does have the treatment.
Okay. Thank you. Just on that, with the things you all mentioned, I would like to say that the Chamber, we are taking an active role in trying to address these problems with the environmental ecosystem that we have here in Rutherford County with the mental health and the substance abuse. So many times it goes hand in hand. You have both. So I'd love to invite you all and any of our business owners to come to be a part of a lunch and learn that we are having on April the 22nd, because we're bringing together resources, and we're also wanting to have employers there to where they will be recovery-friendly employers. And that way they have that backup, the system behind them. They can see it both on the judicial law enforcement side as well as the resources for mental health and also the support there for the substance use. So hope you all can be there. And we appreciate you sharing your time, and we will go to a short break, and we hope you'll stick around for a meet and greet after.
Vote David Norris, District Attorney, March 2026. A Rutherford County native, David Norris has 30 years of legal experience with nearly 23 in the District Attorney's Office as an Assistant DA. David has proven his ability to fight and prosecute difficult cases. David Norris is a veteran of 16 years serving in the U.S. Army. If you believe that our criminal justice system needs change, vote David Norris, District Attorney, March 2026, paid for by David Norris for District Attorney.
March 3rd, 2026, elect Jamie Dunn, Sheriff of Rutherford County, because this county deserves leadership that tells the truth. He knows that drug numbers, arrests, and real progress don't come from one man. They come from the hard-working deputies risking their lives every day. He's been one of them, and he has always stood with them. As sheriff, his priorities are simple: protect our families, support our deputies, and bring this county honest leadership we can trust. With 24 years of experience, he knows how to get things done. Vote Jamie Dunn, Sheriff, paid for by the committee to elect Jamie Dunn, Sheriff.
I want you to love your plumbing as much as I love mine. That's why I want you to call Olmsted Plumbing for all your plumbing needs. It's fall of the year, and Olmsted Plumbing is excited about prepping for the fall season. Changing weather always triggers broken water lines and stopped up drains. It's also time to winterize your home, service your well pump system, clean your gutters, downspouts, and storm drains. For an ounce of prevention or a pound of cure, call Olmsted Plumbing for all your plumbing needs. 828-245-7302. Offices at 470 Washington Street in Forest City and now at 1204 South Post Road in Shelby.
At Raymond James, we believe in the power of freedom. The freedom to invest in your future, to make choices that align with your goals, and to pursue success with confidence. Experience the freedom to invest, the freedom to make choices, and the freedom to pursue your success with our dedicated team. Contact us today. Raymond James, life well planned.
Dependable trucks, SUVs, and cars are selling fast for a good reason at STS Auto Sales in Rutherford. Inventory changes often, so go to the STS Auto Sales Facebook page for new arrivals. STS goes the extra mile to recognize potential problems before the vehicle is even put on the lot, ensuring you a dependable vehicle. All come with a 3-month, 3,000-mile powertrain warranty, no dock fees, low mileage, and easy financing. So use your tax refund as down payment. See Scott Brown, owner of STS Auto Sales, Charlotte Road in Rutherford.
I'm District Attorney Ted Bell, and I'm asking for your vote for re-election in the Republican primary. One of the areas we particularly focus on is child sexual predators, and we have sent these monsters to prison for the longest sentences in the history of our district. Sentences of up to 175 years in prison. As District Attorney, I do everything I can to fight crime and protect our children. Please vote for me, Ted Bell, for re-election as District Attorney in the Republican primary on March 3rd. Thank you. Paid for by the committee to elect Ted Bell.
This is Sheriff Aaron Ellenberg. Rutherford County is my home, my family's home, and I want nothing more than to see it thrive. That starts with proven law enforcement, strong leadership, and safe neighborhoods for every family. With more than 26 years of law enforcement experience and a dedicated staff, we've made real progress, finding real solutions to today's challenges and making Rutherford County safe for all. I'm proud of what we've accomplished in my first term, from our streets to our detention center. And with your support, we'll keep moving the Sheriff's Office forward for everyone. Please vote the Republican primary on March 3rd, paid for by a committee to elect Aaron Ellenberg for Sheriff.
If we can have everyone find a seat, we are going to have a hard time hitting 7. So, but it's good to see everyone. If you just tuning in with YouTube, my name is Cindy Cobb. I'm the Executive Director of the Rutherford County Chamber. And up here with me is the candidates for Clerk of Court. We have our incumbent, Steve Owens, and we have his opponent is Candy Hoyle. And Steve, I will start with you. If you could just give us a little bit of background, and then Candy, after he's finished, we'll let you have 2 minutes, each of you. Tell us about your background, and then we'll start with the questions.
Okay, background, went to Central, graduated there, went to ICC, graduated there. While I was going to ICC, I worked with Eckerd Drug Corporation. Quite honestly, I was going to be a pharmacist. So I did really well in business, and so they promoted me, and I got into mid-management of Eckerd's. With Eckerd's, you could retire if you were in mid-management after 15 years. So I stayed on, and everybody knows once you hit that point, that's when you make your money. So I stayed about another 7.5 years with them, then went to clerk's office. Keith Melton found out I was retiring, and been there ever since. Went with 2 years with him, went to 14 years with the DA's office, did everything with that. And then everybody remembers when Robin Spence passed away, there's about 10 people ran to run for that, and had some people ask me about it. But anyway, got there, won that, and been there ever since. Got a pretty good record, because when we started out, our audit scores were about 72%, and the auditor said, I am quitting. We'll come back in 6 months, and we'll start all over again, and now we're at the top of the state.
Okay, thank you. Candy, if you would tell us about your background, please.
Okay. I graduated from RS Central as well, and I continued my education at Isothermal Community College. In 2006, Keith Melton hired me for the clerk's office. I worked there in the civil department, I worked in the criminal department, and I worked in the cashier's office while I was there. I worked under Keith, and I worked under Robin Spence, and I worked under Steve. I had hoped that one day I'd be able to run for clerk, and that was my plan when I left the clerk's office. I left the clerk's office to go. I actually went to work for the district court judge's office. I did that for a very short time because then Laura Powell approached me and asked me to come and help her start up the public defender's office. And that is where I work currently. I've been there since the very beginning of the public defender's office. I am her administrative assistant, so I'm basically her right-hand person. I decided to run for clerk because that has always been something that I have aspired to do, and that is where I'm at right now. So,
Okay, thank you. Now, since we started with you, Steve, I'm going to let Candy answer the question first. Candy, how would you approach delegation while ensuring that being elected as clerk of court, that you would maintain the oversight and the core responsibilities?
okay. Well, I think as the elected clerk, delegation is one of the things. I would not delegate my authority as clerk. I think that part is what the clerk is there for. They are there to oversee the whole clerk's office. That is their job. Now, I would have some assistants in place for to help, but as far as being over the clerk's office and overseeing everything, that would be my job, and I would not delegate that authority to anybody else. I believe that those challenges, those things that are there are for the clerk, not for an assistant to deal with.
Okay.
So that's what.
All right, thank you. Steve?
Yep.
Now, as the clerk of court, how do you approach ensuring that you maintain the oversight of the core responsibilities?
That's a really good question, and the reason being is that question is also on our audit, because they want to know who you've got in each spot if someone passes away or can't fulfill their duties, that they don't have a problem like they did back when Robin Spence passed away, okay? But this is an audit thing. You can check it. It's on the website. I have a chief assistant. Some of them have what is called an executive assistant. Some of them have called a chief executive assistant. Some of them have called them senior assistants. But each assistant, that whatever department they're over, they're delegated those duties. Just like when I was with Eckert, you have to run things as a business because you cannot do everything. You have to have somebody to make sure that's done. It's like when I was over those $1 million companies, they had pharmacies. I don't know how to fill prescriptions, but I was still over them and I was still responsible for them. So you still got, even though you're delegating something to somebody, it's still my responsibility. But that's one of the questions that is on the audit.
Okay, thank you. Steve, once again, this question will be for you. What strategies would you use to promote staff retention and maintain the morale and ensure an effective office performance? And how should an elected official be held accountable for a retention rate?
Well, we've got, I'd say right now, we've got one of the best groups we've had. We're very blessed. We get a lot of people coming in all the time that where we used to not have the praise and the people telling us and meeting us out in the public that somebody helped them or somebody had the smile on their face that they did have, or didn't have. But you have to do that on a constant, daily basis because I believe Candy said it one time, and she said it's the truth. We're dealing with people at their very worst. Nobody comes up there to that courthouse that's happy. The only person that's coming up there to that courthouse that's happy is when we do adoptions or when they're getting a divorce. Other than that, everybody else that goes into that courthouse has gone through some type of traumatic injury to not only their life, but their livelihood and their family, and they're having to deal with that. So we have to keep doing that same thing, and you've got to have a kind of heart for that. You can't be okay one day and be nice to me one day, and the next day nobody wants to be around you.
Okay, thank you. Candy, same question. What strategies would you use, if elected, to promote staff retention and maintain the morale and ensure that you have an effective office performance? And how should, if elected, would you think that you should be held accountable for that? Or as a role as clerk of court in general, do you think that's something where you should be held accountable?
Well, I think the biggest thing as far as the retention of the staff, and I think showing your staff that you support them, that showing them you're not going to expect them to do anything that you would not do. Give them the support that they need. Back them up. If there is a problem, be there. Be there to back them up. And I think the biggest thing as far as what Steve was saying and what I've said all along, you've got to treat the people that come in the office with respect, with dignity. And, people come in the clerk's office not because they want to. It's a necessity. They have to be there because they're going through the lowest part of their lives, a divorce, a death in the family, they've been, somebody suing them, just anything like that. And you've got to be able to show the people that you care. You've got to do your job, and you got to do your job right, but you got to show some compassion. And I think that is one thing that I'm going to be really big on is, when people come in the clerk's office, they need to be treated with respect. They need to be treated as a person, not as a number. And that's my goal for it.
Okay, thank you. Our next question, and Candy, it's your turn, and then we'll go to Steve. If something would to arise, how would you handle an ethical concern or allegation of misconduct within your office as clerk of court, or to seek to maintain the transparency and the public trust, keeping that public trust there? How would you go about that?
Well, the biggest thing is the transparency. You would have to just get to the bottom of it. You would have to do your research, make sure what is happening. And I would seek counsel. I would seek advice from people that the judges and the DA, the people that have been in positions before me, because of course I'll be going in new. I won't, have the experience. So I'll seek advice from those that have experience. But bottom line, no matter what, right is right and wrong is wrong. And if I see that it's wrong, then there'll be consequences.
Thank you. Now, Steve, I'm not saying that there has been anything, so I'm just going to word it the same way. If something should arise, how would you handle ethical concerns or allegations of misconduct within your office as clerk of court, how would you seek maintaining that transparency and the accountability and keeping the public's trust?
Well, since this is going to be my third term finishing up here, I've been there 11 years. We've had to do that several times. The way AOC, and it's not the AOC that you hear on television, it's Administrative Office of the Court, okay, and the School of Government, they have strict rules and guidelines you've got to go by. Do I talk to Judge Davis or one of the other judges every once in a while just to get kind of what their thoughts are? But I've still got to go by those guidelines. HR rules, they are. Rush Eubanks is the main man out of Raleigh. You've got to get everything cleared through his office. You've got steps that you've got to have check-off lists before you can do anything. And then everything on that list, after it's checked off, then you have all the transparency you want, because whatever they'll let you have out of Raleigh is yours.
Thank you. Just in closing, and Steve, this is for you. What would be the key message you would like for voters to remember about your qualifications, your priorities, and your vision for the clerk of court office?
Well, again, probably, when you see all these people come in, most of the county has no clue what the clerk's office does. But when they come in, we see people at their worst. The other candidates who were up here earlier, they were talking about mental health. I have been over, and again, you can get this off. This is not my numbers. You can get them off the website. A little over 2,500 hearings. I do everything from foreclosures to claim and deliveries. But the worst ones are where you've got families that are estates, that type of stuff. And they've been estranged from each other for 20, 25 years, and they come up and they see you later, or they'll call you 3 or 4 months later and say, listen, we haven't talked for years, and our family's talking again since you listened to us and told us what to do in court. And most of those courts, especially like when you have incompetencies, you're dealing with somebody's livelihood and their rights. And so you've got to listen, and you've got to pay attention, and you've got to have a heart for it. You've got to have compassion. And that's what makes it work.
Thank you. Candy, your closing statement. What would be the key message you would like for voters to remember about your qualifications, the priorities you had set, and the vision that you would have serving as clerk of court in your office?
One of the key things that I think I see with the clerk's office right now is the fact that when people come into the office and they're turned away or told that there's not a clerk there because that can take care of their situation. I think one of the biggest things I want to do is cross-training. I've had so many people tell me that they'll go into the office and they'll say, I'm sorry, that particular clerk is not here today, or they're gone to lunch, you'll have to come back. And to me, that's just not acceptable, because, these people are taking time away from their families, they're taking time away from their employers to come to the clerk's office to get something done, and they're not getting results. So to me, cross-training, that's going to be one of my biggest goals. In each office, there are several clerks. Each one does have their own specific duties, but those specific duties, they need to know those, of course, inside and out, but they need to know what other duties inside the office they need to be able to at least wait on the person, at least get the person what they need. So the person does not leave the office empty-handed or unsatisfied. I think that's one of the biggest things that I see that I want to implement when I do become clerk. I also, again, people need to be treated with respect. They need to be treated with kindness, with compassion. And I think that's a really big problem right now, too.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, time ran out. In closing, I'd just like to say that we're very appreciative of both of you coming because, like you both said, I think a lot of times the public is not really aware of what all the clerk of court role is. And that's why I appreciate you being here, and we hope that everyone feels more informed about the office of clerk of court, what you do, and being more appreciative of you being there in those tough situations. And if we have to go to the clerk of court's office, maybe we can all keep that in mind and be a little more friendly and patient while we're there too. So we thank you both for being here, and we'll go to another commercial break, and we will, I hope you'll stick around, and it's in the interest of time, we will have the judges come up, and that will be the last of the law enforcement.
Vote David Norris, District Attorney, March 2026. A Rutherford County native, David Norris has 30 years of legal experience with nearly 23 in the District Attorney's Office as an Assistant DA. David has proven his ability to fight and prosecute difficult cases. David Norris is a veteran of 16 years serving in the U.S. Army. If you believe that our criminal justice system needs change, vote David Norris, District Attorney, March 2026, paid for by David Norris for District Attorney.
March 3rd, 2026, elect Jamie Dunn, Sheriff of Rutherford County, because this county deserves leadership that tells the truth. He knows that drug numbers, arrest, and real progress don't come from one man. They come from the hard-working deputies risking their lives every day. He's been one of them, and he has always stood with them. As sheriff, his priorities are simple: protect our families, support our deputies, and bring this county honest leadership we can trust. With 24 years of experience, he knows how to get things done. Vote Jamie Dunn, Sheriff, paid for by the committee to elect Jamie Dunn, Sheriff.
I want you to love your plumbing as much as I love mine. That's why I want you to call Olmsted Plumbing for all your plumbing needs. It's fall of the year, and Olmsted Plumbing is excited about prepping for the fall season. Changing weather always triggers broken water lines and stopped up drains. It's also time to winterize your home, service your well pump system, clean your gutters, downspouts, and storm drains. For an ounce of prevention or a pound of cure, call Olmsted Plumbing for all your plumbing needs. 828-245-7302. Offices at 470 Washington Street in Forest City and now at 1204 South Post Road in Shelby.
At Raymond James, we believe in the power of freedom. The freedom to invest in your future, to make choices that align with your goals, and to pursue success with confidence. Experience the freedom to invest, the freedom to make choices, and the freedom to pursue your success with our dedicated team. Contact us today. Raymond James, life well planned.
Dependable trucks, SUVs, and cars are selling fast for a good reason at STS Auto Sales in Rutherford. Inventory changes often, so go to the STS Auto Sales Facebook page for new arrivals. STS goes the extra mile to recognize potential problems before the vehicle is even put on the lot, ensuring you a dependable vehicle. All come with a 3-month, 3,000-mile powertrain warranty, no dock fees, low mileage, and easy financing. So use your tax refund as down payment. See Scott Brown, owner of STS Auto Sales, Charlotte Road in Rutherford.
I'm District Attorney Ted Bell, and I'm asking for your vote for re-election in the Republican primary. One of the areas we particularly focus on is child sexual predators, and we have sent these monsters to prison for the longest sentences in the history of our district. Sentences of up to 175 years in prison. As district attorney, I do everything I can to fight crime and protect our children. Please vote for me, Ted Bell, for re-election as district attorney in the Republican primary on March 3rd. Thank you. Paid for by the committee to elect Ted Bell.
This is Sheriff Aaron Ellenberg. Rutherford County is my home, my family's home, and I want nothing more than to see it thrive. That starts with proven law enforcement, strong leadership, and safe neighborhoods for every family. With more than 26 years of law enforcement experience and a dedicated staff, we've made real progress, finding real solutions to today's challenges and making Rutherford County safe for all. I'm proud of what we've accomplished in my first term, from our streets to our detention center. And with your support, we'll keep moving the Sheriff's Office forward for everyone. Please vote the Republican primary on March 3rd, paid for by a committee to elect Aaron Ellenberg for Sheriff.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. We'll be wrapping up after we meet with our candidates for District Court Judge, and this is seat 1. And District 41 is what Rutherford County falls in. As I mentioned at the beginning, there are 3 seats. The other 2 seats are running unopposed. So with us today is Judge Robert Martell, and we also have Andrew LaBreche with us. So thank you both for agreeing to be here.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, we're very excited to see that all of our candidates actually came. So we, those running for those other offices, they better show up, hadn't they? So once again, like we did with others, I'll start with you, Judge, and if you will just do a brief background about you, and,
Okay, sure.
and then Andrew will go to you afterwards.
Okay, I'm Robert Martell. I'm your Chief District Court Judge. I moved here 30 years ago with my wife. I've been married for 32 years now. I've got 3 children, Alexandra, Lindsay, and Madeline. I've got 4 grandchildren. When I first moved here, I moved here with a couple of my best friends, and we started a law practice. I did that law practice for about 18 years. I built a very large and successful domestic practice. I was the DSS attorney as well. I basically then I immersed myself in the community. I just volunteered and did stuff. I don't know how to. I mean, there's a lot of things I did. I was a swimmer in college, so I coached high school. I coached the Chase High School kids for a few years. I coached Thomas Jefferson. I coached soccer programs for the kids. I was on boards. I was an elder in my church. I was the first attorney for Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy. And then what happened about 18 years into my practice, there was an opening on the bench, and the bar, the attorneys, the local attorneys, my colleagues, they asked me to put in for that position. And I was honored and humbled by that, and so I prayed about it, because I had a lot to give up to do that, but I prayed about it, and I decided to go for it, and they voted for me, and then the governor nominated me, and I've been your judge ever since. I've been your judge since 2013, and then in 2019, the Chief Justice in the North Carolina Supreme Court asked me to be the Chief District Court Judge for the district, and so I've been in that position ever since, and I just try to work every day like I did when I was in private practice. I just work hard. I try to bring policies and put things in place to help the community. I really focus on family. I'm from a large family. I'm one of 9 kids myself.
I'm sorry.
Am I done? Okay.
Your
Anyway.
2 minutes are up. I'm
Love
sorry. We do hope you'll stick around
good.
during the meet and greet and tell us more about
All
it.
good.
Andrew, give us a 2-minute background.
Sure. My name is Andrew LaBreche. I am from Rutherford County. Was raised here, went to high school here. After I graduated, I went to Appalachian State University. graduated top of my class, went to Notre Dame Law School, graduated top of my class, and then I clerked for a Supreme Court justice that was Ronald Reagan's Assistant Attorney General, and have since then practiced at one of the largest law firms in the country, and in fact the world, before coming back here for a bit slower pace of life. And I hope we won't have time to get into this, but that's the opposite of what happened. What I found when I came here was astonishing, and I will turn it over at that.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to set this question up. So for many people in Rutherford County, their first experience with the court system is like an initial appearance or a bond hearing. If you could explain in general terms the judge's role in setting a bond or bail, and what factors are considered when deciding whether someone is released or held, and how the amount or conditions of bond are determined under North Carolina law.
Just for me or for?
This will be for Andrew.
Sure. When someone is arrested, there's a slew of factors that go into what the bond amount is. The type of crime, the criminal history, the severity of the actions involved in the crime itself. There was supposed to be a bond schedule that the Superior Court and Chief District Court judge create that sets parameters on those bonds so that they are administered fairly and without any kind of bias or favor or anything like that. We did a public record request for that. Didn't exist until shortly after we did that about a year or two ago. The bonds have been all over the place for the same types of crimes with no extreme factors. That has to stop. But those are the factors that go into setting a bond.
Okay, thank you. And Judge Martell, if you could tell us, I'll go over that again. The judge's role in setting the bond or bail, and what factors are considered when deciding whether someone is released or held, and how the amount or conditions of bond are determined under North Carolina law.
Sure. The first thing we have to have is a record. You get a criminal record check on the person, and that's provided to us usually by the district attorney's office. And then on that record check, you go through first off, and you're looking for criminal history. Are there prior assaults? Is there domestic violence? Are there failure to appears? And then, you know, is it a violent crime? Are there guns involved? Do they have felonies? Have they had probation violations? All those things factor into the amount, whether or not, you know, basically whether you're going to stick with the guideline or go above or below the guideline. Then you're looking at more personal factors. Does the person live in the area? Does the person have family in the area? Does the person have a job? If there's no criminal history, you know, what happened here? And so you take all those factors, and then as a judge, you basically make a call. And you look at the guideline, and we do have a guideline. We've had a guideline for years. And it's been, I've signed off on it, Judge Davis signed off on it, our senior resident judge. And it has a grid with the amounts. And then based upon all those factors, there are now forms that have been provided under the new law. And you go through those forms, and you go through all the things I just talked about, and you're Xing boxes, and you're putting them in and figuring out, and then you make a call on it. And whether you go above or below that guideline amount is based upon all those factors that appear on that person. So if a person has a Class I felony, the normal bond would be $10,000, okay? But what if the new crime, or what if they have 3 failure to appears in their history and they've got 5 other felonies? Well, you might say, okay, that's not a $10,000 bond. That probably needs to be $20,000. So those are the kind of things you're going to look at. Other than that, it's a judgment call based upon a lot of factors, and I think I've covered most of them. So.
Okay, thank you. Right, this next question will be for you also, Judge. What tools or responsibilities does a district court judge have to help manage case flow and address backlogs while respecting the roles of the other offices?
So you're asking me about if there's a backlog?
If there's any type of backlog, what would your role be, or tools that you could have to use?
Sure. Well, as chief, I set the scheduling and the calendar. And we originally had just a 3-month calendar, and I started doing a 6-month calendar. And then to deal with, I control the civil side. Like the criminal side is much more the DA's office. The civil side is much more something that as a chief judge I would handle. And what I did is I just set to clean out the dockets. There were cases on there that were really old when I started, so I started doing a cleanup calendar. I tried to use the calendars more efficiently. For instance, on Mondays in Rutherford County, we do criminal court in the morning, but then I do juvenile court in the afternoon, so I'm doing a 2-for-1. So that helps keep an extra criminal court date, and also we can do juvenile courts on those days. I added more DSS days, so we now have DSS is every Thursday in, I'm sorry, that's DV court. DSS is every Tuesday in Rutherford and every Wednesday in McDowell counties. And then I put it so there's only 2 judges doing that. So the 2 judges then are more on top of it. So it's kind of a one family, one judge approach. And that eliminates time wasting, having to relearn the case every time. And so you put tools in place like that. I started a DV court so that DV court, we used to have domestic violence cases that would sit on top of criminal cases. And so what I started doing is noticing that there was too many of them. And so we started a separate court for domestic violence so they get their own, they get the attention they need, and it streamlines that process. And then those cases are handled much more efficiently instead of having to waiting all day, which causes undue delays because you can't reach the cases. So I've just had to carve out things into the docket to make it work, and it's a process. We're short 1 judge realistically, and we're short 1 courtroom in Rutherford, which we're working on both of those things. Certainly the courtroom in Rutherford, but it's a logistic thing. But we just keep picking away at it, and there's a lot of things I put in place.
Okay, thank you. Same question, Andrew. What tools or responsibility does a district court judge have to help manage case flow and address backlogs while respecting the roles of other offices? How would you handle that?
In the district court, with the judges being able to affect calendars, that is by far the biggest tool that a judge has. And that's by far one of the biggest problems that we have in our court. The majority of the days, the district court judges, except for 1 judge, leave after noon. They're making about $160,000, $180,000, and they're working half days most days. That is the biggest factor. If other attorneys or the district attorney start causing problems to delay, you certainly have a lot of inherent authority as a judge to impose any orders you need to remedy that. Okay. But right now, that's where we are, is half days.
Okay, so how would you handle it then?
Right now, there should be court.
No, I'm just talking if you were how would you handle it?
The backlogs?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, with backlogs, while also respecting those roles, how would you address that? How would you handle it?
Work the whole day, 2 court sessions, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. There's no excuse for that not happening.
Okay, thank you. We just wanted to make sure we had a good, clear, concise answer so everybody understands. Okay, Andrew, this next one will be for you. From your understanding of the role as a district court judge, what ethical responsibilities does a district court judge have when concerns arise about professional conduct by attorneys or members of the judiciary, and what appropriate process exists to address these concerns?
The role is absolute. When you see something that is not right, that is illegal, that is unethical, you speak, you report it. You have the authority to take actions against an attorney, or you don't a judge, but you do an attorney if there's something like that going on. And that is, in fact, really the reason that I am running. What happened when I came here was I had clients coming to me about a sitting chief district.
If we just kind of we don't want to involve anything going on now, let's just keep it from your point. If you were sitting there as a district court judge, how would you handle those ethical responsibilities?
You stop it. You report it.
Okay.
You make sure it doesn't continue. And that hasn't happened here.
Okay, thank you. Judge Martell,
Sure.
from your understanding, as your role as a district court judge and your ethical responsibilities in that role, when those concerns arise and there is an issue with professional conduct by attorney or members of the judiciary, what appropriate processes exist now to address those concerns?
Right, so you're talking about two separate bodies that you're dealing with there. With the attorneys, you're dealing with the state bar, and so when I have an issue with an attorney, depending on what it is, if it's a substance abuse issue, then what we'll do is we'll refer that attorney to it's called the PALS or LAPS program, and then we'll try to work with them through that program and make sure that they can get the help they need for any substance abuse issues. If it's a conduct issue, then what you can end up with there is, you can make a report to the state bar, and then the state bar will handle it accordingly. But at that point, once you make a report, it goes to the state bar, they handle it. If it's a judge, sure, we're guided by a canon, and the canons are pretty clear on that. If we see something inappropriate by a judge, we report it, and that's what I've always done. I've done it in the past. I don't have any issue with that. So, sure, that's how you handle it. That one goes to judicial standards, but that's how I've always handled it.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
This next question, we'll start with you.
Sure.
What do you see as the most pressing public safety or justice-related needs here in Rutherford County? In your role as judge, what you see? I know we've asked our sheriff.
Yeah, you've asked everybody, and it's the same answer, except that for me, it's I see it in social services court, DSS court. It's fentanyl. It's substance abuse. And so what happens is we have so many substance-affected babies. They're born positive. And so those children then get removed from their home. So what I've done is I tried to seek something that I could address this problem, start working with families. And so I started a Safe Babies Court. I don't know if you've heard of it or you know what it is. You can go on a website and look at it and read about it, but basically it's like a drug court for families. And so these families come into DSS and they've lost their children. And then I put them in this program where they get intensive treatment, and it's not just treatment to the parent, it's treatment to the entire family. And so we address the generational traumas that have been going on in our community. I'm dealing with the third generation of families now that have gone through this. I've had grandparents, then the parents and the kids now before me, and it breaks my heart, and I'm trying to stop it. And so this Safe Babies program will do that. And so that's just one of the things I can do to try to do it, but is absolutely the fentanyl crisis. It's a plague on our community, and I think we have to address it. You've got to find the money to do it, and you have to have the will to do it. And I found a grant, and I've hired someone. I've got staff. I've got a buy-in from all the attorneys in the program. I've got a buy-in from both directors and DSS, and we're doing it. And we've got families enrolled now, and I'm hoping if we can do this program for 10 years, we're going to break this cycle. So I'm trying, but I need everybody's help. That's the truth.
Thank you. Andrew.
Could you read it? Yeah, you could read
yes,
it one
I'll
more
read it again. As the role of a district court judge, you're sitting in that role. What do you see as the most pressing public safety or justice-related need here in Rutherford County, and how would you go about making a difference?
Fairness and accountability, trust in the institutions, and making sure there's a level playing field in the courts. No favors, no different types of judgments on one kind of case and another kind of case, or two cases that are the same. That is one of the biggest problems with the legal system in this county today, and David Norris, I think, said it earlier, that the trust is gone, and there's a reason for that. The way you get that back is you do what I've spent the last few years doing. You go at it, you stop it, you uproot it, but there's more left, and that's what I will do if you vote for me for judge.
Okay, thank you. This next one will be for you. Once again, We asked this of our sheriff too. Rutherford County has experienced an increase in individuals who are unhoused, many of whom are struggling with substance use and mental health challenges. And as a rural county, and with limited treatment and the support resources, they often do. These issues intersect with the judicial system. Now, the question would be, Andrew, from your perspective as the office of judge that you're seeking, how do you believe that the justice system could respond to these challenges in a way that's providing public safety while also accountability and compassion?
That's a major issue that we have been looking at in the last few years, as a matter of fact. The solution is actually fairly simple. You work together with the groups in the county that have resources for different pieces of the process, because housing is a major issue when that revolving door is happening, because if you don't have housing, you don't have help and treatment, you're going to go right back into jail. You just see it. The stats say it. One of the big things that really should have been done a long time ago is drug court. I don't know why it was stopped. I don't know why it hasn't been started again. The mental health court. But the resources are out there. There's state funds for it, and nobody is applying for them. And the ones that are, the money's not going towards what it is given for. Those are issues that basic accountability and transparency can fix with just a little bit of effort.
Okay, thank you. Judge Martell, once again, from your perspective as a district court judge, how do you believe that the justice system could respond to these challenges that we're looking at with the unhoused and substance abuse and mental health challenges? And you've touched on it somewhat, but what else do you see as far as public safety, accountability, and compassion? And also, would you be in favor of bringing back the drug court?
Sure. Let me touch on the mental health aspect of it first. The biggest problem we have is that there is a shortage of basically housing for people with mental health problems. I think everybody's touched on it, but all we really have is Broughton around here, and Broughton, as the sheriff said, basically, we find them, they have these mental health problems, and we send them to the jail to be held until they can go to Broughton, but then they never get sent to Broughton. And so they spend all that time in the jail and they never actually get treated, and then they've done enough time, they just get released back on the streets. The court system is really not built to deal with the mentally ill, and so we do what we can. We try to find the resources for them. There are things in the community we can use, but we really need a societal change on that. We need some help from the legislature, and we probably need more large, I don't want to call them hospitals, I don't know, but places like Broughton that we can house people that they can get the treatment and get the help they need. As far as drug court, look, I did drug court. I was the attorney for drug court. I represented all the defendants in drug court, but that was a superior court program. It wasn't a district court program. It was in superior court. And then when Susie Bridges retired and Judge Davis went on, I think the grant ran out. It's all about money. It's about resources. I don't have any problem with a drug court, but I think what we have to understand is that, I don't have a budget. Like, I have to go out and get money to do things. And so it's not as simple as, we'll just go get the money. That's not how it works, because the DA's office is understaffed and the clerks are understaffed and we don't have the court space. And I don't have enough judges and the calendar's already full. So we can do a drug court, but I need a buy-in from everybody. It's kind of like what we talked about before. This is not just a simple solution. I need a buy-in from every other department to make that work. And so, sure,
Okay.
Let's try.
Thank you. Well, one thing that we've learned is from so many across the board with different candidates is that next meet the candidates where we're dealing with legislative, with county commissioners and on the state level, how important that is, and to be well informed. And you gentlemen, we appreciate you being here. And just as a follow-up, and I'll start with you, Judge. How does the court help to balance like public safety, a defendant's constitutional rights, and the likelihood of someone returning to court.
I'm not sure I understand what you're asking me.
Yeah, how can you go about that to, I guess, trying to take the proper measures to try to curb the revolving door of people coming
You mean
in
like
and out of the
repeat
court?
offenders?
Right. How could you do that while also balancing the things as public safety?
Sure. Well, it goes back to what we talked about earlier, to be honest with you on that one. That's basically most of the cases we deal with, and I think if you talk to anybody who's in the court system, they'll acknowledge this, you're still dealing with substance abuse issues. You have people who have substance abuse issues, they're committing crimes. And they're either the dealers or the users, and you have to figure that out first. Okay, is this just a user, or is this a bad egg? And then if you're dealing with somebody who's a repeat offender, again, as a judge, it's a balancing act. Is this person serious about getting help? Oh, there's only a 30-second one?
Yes, I'm sorry.
You didn't tell me that.
I'm sorry.
I had a good answer.
I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
I'm glad he went
Anyway.
first, because I didn't know
It
it
snuck
either.
up on me, too.
Wow. See, I had you enthralled. I had him.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I had
All
2
right.
minutes. All right.
Well, that sounds like we need to get everybody back for our lunch and learn with our thing with
Sure, that's
the
fine.
recovery. Andrew, how would you do that as far as trying to balance the public safety, defendant's constitutional rights, and remember, you got 30 seconds, and that revolving door thing with repeat offenders?
Well, for balancing the rights, I mean, there are certain crimes, particularly violent crimes, that, punishments, that's what has to happen. But, the other aspects, we need drug court, we need mental health services, we need a coordinated group of people in this community to make sure that we're able to help the people who want help and who are really wanting help. And then from the judge's perspective, make that part of the pleas that you agreed to.
Okay. Well, we thank you. One thing that we can all agree upon is, I think everyone here has heard it often tonight, that the substance abuse is a big issue here in Rutherford County. And I believe that it's not just Rutherford County, but it's our home. We see it. And it is causing a problem. And I'm glad that this was brought up, because I do think it's something we need to address. And I would invite each of you all to come to our lunch and learn, because our tagline with the chamber is the connection, the collaboration, community. So just being here today, this evening, gathering together, we have been able to see that a lot of bottom line problems go back to substance abuse in our county.
Amen.
And it's something we need to address. Also, I hope from the things we've heard as far as where we're limited with money, that those things are important for us to address, where the county commissioners, what they can budget, also with the state legislative, all the way up to the federal. And as the chamber, we do advocate on each of those levels. So we hope that everyone will see the relevance of the Chamber of Commerce here in Rutherford County as well. And we wish you both the best. And I'd just like to say that we thank all of the candidates. And so this will conclude our law enforcement segment, night one of Meet the Candidates. And we appreciate the explanations and the service that each of you give to the people of Rutherford County. It is very much appreciated. I'm sure you don't hear it quite often, but for each one, each role, we appreciate you. We appreciate those that are willing to run, because we know it's giving up time, it's giving up money, and we hope if we did anything tonight, we hope that we have addressed and see what a common problem is, and we also hope that we kept it to where it is a small town friendly town hall meeting.
All right.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Vote David Norris, District Attorney, March 2026. A Rutherford County native, David Norris has 30 years of legal experience with nearly 23 in the District Attorney's Office as an Assistant DA. David has proven his ability to fight and prosecute difficult cases. David Norris is a veteran of 16 years serving in the U.S. Army. If you believe that our criminal justice system needs change, vote David Norris, District Attorney, March 2026, paid for by David Norris for District Attorney.
March 3rd, 2026. Elect Jamie Dunn, Sheriff of Rutherford County, because this county deserves leadership that tells the truth. He knows that drug numbers, arrests, and real progress don't come from one man. They come from the hard-working deputies risking their lives every day. He's been one of them, and he has always stood with them. As sheriff, his priorities are simple: protect our families, support our deputies, and bring this county honest leadership we can trust. With 24 years of experience, he knows how to get things done. Vote Jamie Dunn, Sheriff, paid for by the committee to elect Jamie Dunn, Sheriff.
I want you to love your plumbing as much as I love mine. That's why I want you to call Olmsted Plumbing for all your plumbing needs. It's fall of the year, and Olmsted Plumbing is excited about prepping for the fall season. Changing weather always triggers broken water lines and stopped up drains. It's also time to winterize your home, service your well pump system, clean your gutters, downspouts, and storm drains. For an ounce of prevention or a pound of cure, call Olmsted Plumbing for all your plumbing needs. 828-245-7302. Offices at 470 Washington Street in Forest City and now at 1204 South Post Road in Shelby.
At Raymond James, we believe in the power of freedom. The freedom to invest in your future, to make choices that align with your goals, and to pursue success with confidence. Experience the freedom to invest, the freedom to make choices, and the freedom to pursue your success with our dedicated team. Contact us today. Raymond James, life well planned.
Dependable trucks, SUVs, and cars are selling fast for a good reason at STS Auto Sales in Rutherford. Inventory changes often, so go to the STS Auto Sales Facebook page for new arrivals. STS goes the extra mile to recognize potential problems before the vehicle is even put on the lot, ensuring you a dependable vehicle. All come with a 3-month, 3,000-mile powertrain warranty, no dock fees, low mileage, and easy financing. So use your tax refund as down payment. See Scott Brown, owner of STS Auto Sales, Charlotte Road in Rutherford.
I'm District Attorney Ted Bell, and I'm asking for your vote for re-election in the Republican primary. One of the areas we particularly focus on is child sexual predators, and we have sent these monsters to prison for the longest sentences in the history of our district. Sentences of up to 175 years in prison. As District Attorney, I do everything I can to fight crime and protect our children. Please vote for me, Ted Bell, for re-election as District Attorney in the Republican primary on March 3rd. Thank you. Paid for by the committee to elect Ted Bell.
This is Sheriff Aaron Ellenberg. Rutherford County is my home, my family's home, and I want nothing more than to see it thrive. That starts with proven law enforcement, strong leadership, and safe neighborhoods for every family. With more than 26 years of law enforcement experience and a dedicated staff, we've made real progress, finding real solutions to today's challenges and making Rutherford County safe for all. I'm proud of what we've accomplished in my first term, from our streets to our detention center. And with your support, we'll keep moving the Sheriff's Office forward for everyone. Please vote the Republican primary on March 3rd, paid for by a committee to elect Aaron Ellenberg for Sheriff.